Right, so according to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the world produces 1.5 times enough food to feed everyone on the planet. So, food and household one can conclude that food and household waste is wasted the most. The food industry wastes surplus food and food refused by customers. And then those in food deficits don't get the food surplus. Myself being in the industry, I've seen what happens to the products and how much is thrown away. I'll be discussing food waste in the household, food waste in the industry, and food waste effects on those in food deficits. Disclaimer, food waste stats are rough estimates because agencies say that it's extremely hard to crunch accurate numbers. So food waste in households. 54 out of 126 billion tons of food waste comes from homes, which is around 43% of food waste coming from homes. The average cost of that is $1,866 per home. In the most efficient of homes, 99% of food is wasted, which means every 11 meals, an entire plate of food is thrown in the trash. Less efficient homes waste around 31.9% of their food. Higher income individuals waste more than low income individuals on average. Higher income individuals waste more because they buy more healthy, perishable foods like fruits and vegetables. They buy the stuff and then they throw away the stuff they left to rot. Lower income people usually buy less food on average and fewer perishables. Larger families and people on food assistance also waste less food. So households waste the most, but food waste is also derived from other parts of the food industry. So on a whole, the US wastes $240 billion in food waste. The entire planet wastes $1 trillion, which means the US wastes around 24% monetarily of food waste in the world. In 2019, the industry wasted around $250 billion. A majority of that thrown away was food surplus, and food surplus is any unsold or uneaten food generated in the industry. A majority of that food is perishable and edible, and then some of it is inedible, which means it's peels, stems, bones, etc. And then a majority of that surplus is thrown away. This begins on farms, where higher harvesting costs and lower market costs make farmers not want to harvest everything because they'll lose a profit. And then any food below aesthetic standards is tilled under. In manufacturing, food is the most efficient is in manufacturing because 90% of the food thrown away is inedible. And then in retail and restaurants, 20 million tons of surplus food is generated. Any items that don't seem fresh are thrown away in retail. Smaller brands are trashed in favor of more popular ones. And then anything close to the expiration dates is also thrown away because most people don't want to buy that. That's where 50% of retail waste comes from. In restaurants, 70% comes from people who don't finish food on their plates. And then 30% comes from other things like improper storage, bulking, and preparation mishaps. COVID also added to the restaurant surplus throwing away of food because when many restaurants closed, they had to throw away literal tons of food. In the Italian restaurant I worked at, I saw half-eaten food thrown away every couple minutes. And then in the SJSU dining commons, you can even see food all the way up to the top of the bin sometimes in the trash. A percentage of food is saved and may feed those in food deficits. Enough food is available for everyone in the United States, but we still have food insecurity. Food insecurity is a lack of consistent access to food for an active and healthy lifestyle, according to Feeding America. College students are the most food insecure, with 20% to 50% rates depending on the study. That's higher than the national rate, which is around 12%. This is because they have lack of access to nutritional assistance programs like SNAP, and they also have lower financial aid compounding with rising college costs, which leaves little room for food. In the whole of the United States, 1 out of 8 people are food insecure. That is 38 million people, plus 50 million more from COVID. There's billions of tons of food in the US thrown away all the time, that can feed these people. So in conclusion, food waste affects consumers, sellers, growers, and those in food deficits. Homes waste the most, with the industry close behind and wasting the rest through surplus. There is enough to feed everyone in the United States, but millions go to bed hungry each night. So consider all the facts that I presented, do your own research, and try to understand the effects of food waste on our country. Thank you.